So we start off with the dragons. Several dragons there, and a Jabberwocky, mostly red dragons, and it's a black dragon, or rust dragon. And we come down, we've got Dracolich, it's Balrog, some other sort of demons and dragons and snakes and zombie dragon. And over here we've got a shadow dragon, various hatchlings. We've got some worms and some raptors. And we come down into the reptile section. Here we've got salamanders, medusas, and various other reptile-like creatures. We've got snakes, dragon turtle. And we come into the lizard men and troglodyte section, and some crocodile men there. And from there we come forward into spiders, driders, and dark elves. So plenty of those. We've got Lolth there, we've got Hydra there, of course, with the reptile section. Little basilisk down there. And then we come down to the heroes section. So this is the any kind of playable character and odd races. Most of my human heroes are here. There's a few sort of dragonborn and a few other things sort of mixed in between. And then we come to the NPCs and townfolk. So various townfolk of different types there, nobles and tradespeople and it's court jester. There's a few more down on this level, and then we get to the city guard, and then we get to human bandits and what have you, and cultists. Before we get to the elf sections, this is all elves. So any hero elf might be in there. Then we get to more humans, lots more humans, sort of whole hordes of them. And after that, there's the dwarf section, so various dwarves, from wizards and clerics to fighters and berserkers and all sorts of various dwarves. Norse gods in there as well. And from there we come down to the nature section, so we've got tree men and minotaurs and Fenrir, one of the Norse gods, sea serpent, which is kind of a little bit out of place. You'll see why soon. Griffin, various other creatures, lots of wolves, lots of bears. We have mages familiars along the front here, so any mage that gets a familiar, hopefully I'll have the model for it. There's a few werewolves tucked in around here as well, there's about 3 of them. And then we've got things like rust monsters, what are they called, myconids or something, the mushroom men, scorpions and rats, and there's some grell and oozes and stuff in the middle there. Then we've got more nature stuff here, gnolls, bugbears, and beastmen and satyrs and stuff like that. There's a few otyughs, a couple of doppelgangers around the back there. Then we get into kind of like the spawn of hell type things. We've got a few witches just there, some fire bats, there's an Ifrit, there's some gibbering mouthers, the suit of armour, animated armour, I forget what it's called in D&D. Various sort of demons and stuff, and beholders. There's a little Illithid section, a couple of mind flayers and a intellect devourer. Some spectators, some Yoklols, and then we come down to the giant sections. There's a couple of Ettins, fire giant, frost giant, and so forth, some frost salamanders. Then we've got the trolls, and sort of a section of them behind. And then we get to the elementals, so fire and earth elemental, lava elemental, lots of water elementals, and then there's some genasi there as well. I keep them with the elemental stuff. And then we get to kobolds. So a horde of kobolds, there's about 30 I think of them. Then we get to the orcs, paint all my orcs red, and goblins. And then we get to the sea section, which is where the sea serpent ought to be. So we've got an aboleth, and then various sea creatures, including a little shark there, and then some sahuagin at the back. And then, all the way over here, we get, this is all of the sort of cute stuff, rabbits and cats and badgers and frogs and foxes and toads and armadillos and stuff. And then behind them, we get the undead section. So there's all sorts of undead in this section. Just about every undead you can imagine. A couple of counters and things, and then that gets us onto the scenery. So here we have the Tomb of Balin from the Fellowship of the Ring. I've got some buildings here, and these do open up to different levels, which is pretty cool. So several buildings there. Then we've got this one, which is kind of like an open type thing for doing bars and tavern fights and what have you. I've got this lava pit. There's a few loose pieces of rock in there, but that is essentially a lava pit. Then we've got an Egyptian tomb, which has a quite cool water section, and various other bits and pieces, and a couple of decks of cards in there actually, which shouldn't be there. And then I've got this little sort of church building. Then we have my cavern dungeon. So that's quite a large setup, that one. Can take up most of my table. On the side there, just got a few mushrooms and statues and sort of necromancer type bits and pieces and waterfalls. Then I get to my yellow dungeon, which is the one that's probably the most versatile. So it just kind of fits so many different things. Next to that, I've got my barn dungeon, which has a few. These wooden stands are so useful. You can just, whoops. So you can put that into so many different dungeons, and really handy thing for just adding some, the third dimension to a fight. Next to that, I've got the forest dungeon. It's not my biggest dungeon. There we go. The lights are working again. Not my biggest dungeon, but certainly, it's a really cool setting. So then we've got a graveyard, and we've got standing stones, and we've got a black dungeon. So for caverns and caves and stuff, that if I just need a secondary cave that's different to my main cave down the bottom there. Next to that, I've got crystal dungeons. So those are all wall sections that can pull out and be used with any of the different floors. And we've got this. This is my Underdark dungeon. A lot of these pieces are custom sculpted. My torch is playing up. Are custom sculpted to have different bits of gunk and stuff on them. This is one I've started work on, so I've sculpted these. This is my floor for my necropolis. So skulls and bones and stuff. Then just in case the players come across a dragon horde, there's all the gold for the dragon horde. And then we get to my general purpose scenery and props and what have you, and we've got all sorts in there, including some little chickens and stuff. So quite a lot in there, enough to make a number of different encounters. And that's it for now, but I have a necropolis that's currently a work in progress, and several miniatures, going to be coming through after that. So